Your grocery bill is up. Your rent is up. Your car insurance is up. And somehow the stock market is up too. You're told inflation is cooling, but your life still feels like it got more expensive and stayed there. Meanwhile, the headlines say the richest households gained wealth on paper during the same stretch. How can the same inflation punch you in the face and pat someone else on the back? The answer is that inflation isn't experienced evenly because money touches people through different entry points. Inflation is the general price level rising, which means each dollar buys less than it did before. But that simple sentence hides the part that matters day to day. Inflation hits you through your personal balance sheet. If most of your life runs on wages and monthly bills, inflation shows up as stress. If a big chunk of your life is tied to assets you already own, inflation can show up as higher account balances and higher home equity. And if you have fixed-rate debt, inflation can quietly change what you owe in real terms, even though the number on the statement stays the same. Picture two people in the same city. Maya rents a one-bedroom, gets paid every 2 weeks, and keeps a small buffer in checking because the timing of bills matters. Daniel owns a home with a fixed-rate mortgage, has a retirement account in index funds, and owns a small slice of a business through his job stock plan. When prices jump, Maya feels it first in groceries, utilities, and rent renewal emails, because those are the purchases she can't postpone. Daniel feels it too at the store, but he also opens an app and sees his house estimate and his portfolio moving up in dollar terms, sometimes faster than his expenses. The first mechanism is wage lag. Prices can move in weeks, but wages usually move in meetings, HR cycles, and negotiations that happen once a year if you're lucky. If inflation runs at 8% and your raise is 4%, you didn't get a raise. You took a pay cut in purchasing power. And the pain is heavier when essentials rise, because essentials are a larger share of a normal paycheck than they are of a wealthy household's budget. Inflation is regressive in practice because the stuff you must buy inflates before the stuff you can delay. The second mechanism is asset repricing, and it's why stocks up can coexist with life is more expensive. When central banks cut rates or add liquidity, and when banks expand credit, that money doesn't land in everyone's wallet at the same time. It moves through channels. Borrowers who can refinance, companies that can issue debt, investors who can buy assets, homeowners who can borrow against equity. Asset prices are forward-looking, so they react to expected future dollars and expected policy, not today's grocery receipt. If you're already in the asset markets, you can feel the effect early. If you live on wages, you often feel it last. The third mechanism is debt, and it can be either a trap or a cheat code. If you locked in a 30-year mortgage at 3% and inflation runs higher than expected, you're paying back with dollars that are worth less over time. Your payment stays the same, but your income and the price of the house can rise, so the debt shrinks in real terms. But access matters. Cheap fixed-rate debt usually goes to people with strong credit, stable income, and collateral. Maya doesn't get that deal. She gets rent increases, variable rate credit cards, and loans priced to her risk, with no asset rising in the background to offset it. So why can markets rise during inflation? One reason is nominal growth. If prices rise, company revenues often rise in dollars, and earnings can rise in dollars, even if the real economy feels tight. Another reason is that when cash buys less, people with cash look for places to park it, and scarce assets can get bid up. And yes, inflation can hurt markets too when rates rise, because higher rates change how investors value future profits. But the stock market is not a cost of living index. It's a pricing machine for expected cash flows, and it can look healthy while households feel squeezed. Put these together and you get a flywheel. Rising asset values create collateral. Collateral creates cheaper credit buys more assets, and the cycle repeats. On the other side, higher prices eat the margin that would have become savings, and without savings, it's hard to buy assets, and without assets, you don't get the repricing benefit. This is why two people can live under the same inflation number and report completely different realities, Inflation is a who owns what story, and it's also a who owes what story, long before it's a headline about prices.